Hello everyone, I'm back again. I forgot to talk about a few things in my last update video, so I figured I'd go ahead and talk about that because I just completely forgot. Oh well. And I also thought maybe if you guys can hear me, I'll go ahead and do a tag. Anyway, I did dye 2 more pieces of fabric since my little video. I did this one here, which is really pretty. It's like a green and white. And I kind of did that in a different way. Instead of rolling it or twisting it, I just scrunched it up and put a rubber band in it just to hold its shape. And I think it turned out pretty. I like it a lot. And this is the other one I did. It's more of a pink and red. I do have a little mess up here. A little green got on it. Oops. Oh well. It's okay. So this one, it didn't turn out quite the way I wanted it to. I wanted to have a little bit more of a variegation. But I'll still use it. It was an experiment. So those are my 2 pieces. And I also forgot, sorry. Has something in my eye. Since it is July, I know that there is a stitch-along going on for Christmas in July. So I am probably going to be working on a few Christmas ornaments that I didn't finish last year. A Joan Elliott Christmas a Joan Elliott Christmas fairy, angel. I will get this right. And a few other little ornaments I just didn't get to finishing last year. I kind of burnt myself out with all those Advent Christmas fairies that I did. And I might start another Christmas pattern. I think it's still a free pattern. It's called The Caroler by Whispered by the Wind. It's a really beautiful piece, and I might start that because it is beautiful. And I'm also thinking maybe I'll start a Christmas stocking for my daughter. But those are just big maybes. I know for sure I'm going to work on the Christmas ornaments that I started last year and just kind of burnt out and didn't finish them. So I know I'm going to be working on those. And the Christmas starts are a maybe. So anyway, I figure I'd bring that up. And if you guys can hear me, and if I can find my piece of paper. Ah, I found it. I'm going to do a tag. I hope you guys can hear me. You might hear my daughter upstairs. She's cleaning her room. You'll hear boom, 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 boom. Yes, Mom is in the doghouse right now because I made her clean her room today. Before she could go outside and play with her friends. Hey, that's just how it is, you know. Anyway, this is Vintage Chic Stitchers Confessions of a Cross Stitcher. It looks like a really fun tag, so I hope you guys can hear me. I'm going to try to talk as loud as I can, and hopefully it'll work. But just in case, put on your headphones. If this doesn't work, then whenever my computer does go back to when it gets working again, I will try to redo this tag again. So we'll see. This is the section called Short and Sweet. Knowing me, that's not going to be the way when I answer it. Okay, question 1. Just cross stitch or specialty stitches? I do like cross stitch, but I do like trying specialty stitches, so yes to both. Number 2, whole stitches or half or quarter stitches too? I would say yes to all 3. I don't mind half stitches or quarter stitches. Number 3, French knots or beads? I prefer beads. Question 4, back stitching, nemesis or friend? Friend. I do like to backstitch. I think it really enhances the pattern, so I don't mind doing backstitching. Question 5, washed or unwashed? Both. If it's just on plain white fabric and no specially dyed floss, I will wash my fabric. If it's, on a dyed piece of fabric or special dyed floss, I will not wash. I will just iron it the best I can and try to keep it as clean as I can when I'm using it. But there are times when I have to wash a piece that I usually wash like a piece that I've dyed because I know that I've really tried to get the extra dye out of it. So, but if it's like a piece I've bought, that's probably something I wouldn't do, because I know that there's a risk that it might bleed all over the place. So, yeah. Iron or what is an iron? Yes, I iron my pieces of fabric. I just answered that. Oops. 7. Professionally framed or do it yourself? I try to do it myself as much as possible. I get my frames, like I try to look for used frames at like a yard sale or thrift store of some kind, and just give it a special makeover best I can, and reframe that way. I'm not the best of framers, but I would rather have my piece hanging up, even though if it's a sloppy framing job or not. I'd just rather see my piece that I've worked so hard on being framed and hanging up on the wall. Framed FO or other finishes. I prefer to do ornaments and pillows and wall hangings or plaques. I try not to frame as much as possible. Okay. And yeah, I don't have an example of showing that to you guys right now because they're all over the place, but you can see them in my other videos. Okay, stickler for pattern or creative muse. I try to stick to the pattern as much as possible, but sometimes I do change things around, especially like colors. If I don't have a color then that pattern is asking for, I will try to find something else that might work that I have in my stash. Okay. An organized stitcher or ruler of chaos. I'm somewhere in between. I'm organized for me. I know from the outside world it looks like a complete mess, but it's organized for me. I know where things are and what's going on. So, planned or spontaneous? Again, somewhere in between. 12. Process stitcher or project driven? I'm not exactly sure because I don't feel like I'm either one. So again, somewhere in between. 13. Impulse buyer or thoughtful purchaser? I'm a thoughtful purchaser. I really try to think before I buy. Especially, I try to only get things that I know I've been thinking about for a long time, like several months to a couple of years. Moment of truth. 14. If you make a mistake, do you frog it out? It depends on the pattern. Sometimes if I'm like really way into the pattern, I will just try to work around that mistake. But if I catch it early, I will just frog it out. Have you ever shown your work? Yeah. I show it to you guys here on YouTube. I show it to my family. I show it to my friends. I'm kind of like that kind of person. Say, hey, look what I made. Look what I made. I annoy my friends and family a lot when I do that. But I don't know. Who do you stitch for? I stitch for friends and family. And for myself. Mostly for myself. If you stitch gifts, are they delivered on time or fashionably late? Most of the time, sorry, I had an itch. Most of the time, they are delivered on time. I get them done on time. But recently, I kind of broke my record on that. I didn't finish a gift on time. So most of the time, I am. I get it on time. Where is the strangest place you have stitched? Recently, in the car, on a trip to Portland. That's not really as strange, but that's pretty much it. Is there anywhere in the world you would like to stitch? I'm not going to be very adventurous here and say, yeah, there's somewhere I do. I'm actually pretty content and happy if I'm just sitting at home and stitching. That is like the place where I would like to be because it's comfortable. But there are places in the world I would like to go. I would love to go to Hawaii. I would love to go to Alaska someday. I would also love to see Italy and Europe and someday. And those are the places I would like to go. I don't know if I necessarily would like to stitch there. Maybe on the plane. Maybe, if they would let me. If you could stitch on one project monogamously for 1 year, which would it be? Well, the current ones I'm working on right now, I would probably work on Rainbow Trails. I love that pattern. And I pretty much have been working on it all year so far. What is the most whips you've had at once? Well, right now, I have the most whips I have ever had. And I think I have about 10 whips. I think. I'm pretty sure. Which is your oldest active whip? That would be Rainbow Trails or Joan Elliott's Nursery Rhymes. I haven't picked it up for a while, but I still work on it. I try to work on it. So, I don't know. That maybe just be a pattern that I'm going to give up on. And then there's someone knocking. Anyway, honestly, tell us how many charts and kits do you have? Well, if you include like the books that I have, it's probably one of the kids asking for my daughter to come play. I don't want to answer because I would have to stop the video. I don't have editing software right now. She can't play outside right now until she cleans her room. That's just how it is. Okay. Okay. Chapter 23. Honestly, tell us how many charts and kits do you have? I have, I would say over, I'm going to just say roughly maybe like 300. I know that seems a lot. I'm saying that because I have lots of magazines and I have lots of books and there's lots of patterns in it. I mean, this right here, it says 55 patterns in there. So that's what I think about that amount. I'm doing a video, honey. Truth. Which design or designers do you just don't get? I'm not gonna say that because I think it's just I don't know how to answer that. I don't really like primitive patterns all that much, but that's all I can really say. I don't know. Okay, and which designers do you absolutely adore and can't live without? Joan Elliott. I guess you guys can probably figure that out right now because usually when I buy something, it's of Joan Elliott's. I love Gail Busty. I really like her patterns. She's a new one that I like. I love Mirabilia. I love Snowflower Diaries. What others? I love Leslie Tears designs. I think those are what more of the designers I'm attracted to in their pieces. So and I try to stitch. So yeah. And the kits I usually like to try to buy are Design Works because they have such a variety of designs and patterns. So in their kits. 26. How many hours a week do you devote to stitching? On average, I would say about 70 hours. I usually try to do an hour a day of stitching. 27. You are on a deserted island and resources are scarce. There are 4 options available to you. Chocolate, coffee, Mr. Darcy, or stitching. You can pick 2. Go. Chocolate and stitching. I'm sorry, I am not much of a big fan of Jane Austen. Oh, please don't get at me. I know I'm gonna probably get a lot of people angry about that. I'm sorry. She's just not my big author that I really enjoy. 28. Does your significant other really know how much you spend on your craft? Yes, he does. We pretty much, well, when bills are paid finally and things are taken care of, we usually both have a little bit of spending on money for our hobbies. He really is into video games, so, and he knows I'm into cross stitching and sewing and belly dancing, but he knows what I spend, and I don't try to go overboard when I try to use coupons as much as possible for the craft stores, and I really try to find deals at the thrift stores too. So yeah, he knows, and he doesn't really care all that much. I guess that's the answer to the question. He doesn't really care that much. As long as I don't go crazy. Anyway, that is the tag. I hope you guys could hear me. I'm sorry about the little interruptions here and there. Kids are out of school. That's how it is. And I'm being the mean mom right now who's making her daughter clean her room. It needs to be done, you know. So anyway, I hope everyone is doing wonderful, and I hope you guys have a great stitching month, and I will see you later. Bye.